before they break you. There is a truth that many people discover only when their body and mind can no longer keep going. Not when they're happy, not when life is calm, but when they wake up exhausted, even after a full night's sleep. At that moment, they ask themselves, "What's wrong with me?" Most of the time, the answer isn't laziness, it isn't weakness, and it isn't a lack of discipline. The real problem is that you've spent too long living without knowing your own limits. From a young age, many of us were taught that being a good person means always saying yes, always helping, always being available, always putting everyone else first. But very few of us were taught that every yes we give to others can slowly become a no to ourselves. And that's how exhaustion begins. Not through one dramatic event, but through hundreds of small moments where you ignore what your mind and body are trying to tell you. Personal boundaries are not walls built to keep people away. They're guideposts. They show you how far you can go without losing yourself. When you ignore them, life slowly changes. You become more impatient, more emotionally drained. The things you once enjoyed no longer excite you. You keep going because you have to, not because you want to. Many people mistake this for laziness. It isn't. It's emotional exhaustion. One of the biggest reasons we ignore our limits is the fear of disappointing others. We believe that if we say no, people will think we're selfish. So we keep saying yes. Yes to extra work. Yes to responsibilities that aren't ours. Yes to helping everyone else while neglecting ourselves. But every time you ignore your own needs, you teach others that your time and energy are always available. The truth is simple. People cannot respect boundaries you never communicate, and they cannot see limits that you constantly ignore yourself. Eventually, your body begins sending signals. You wake up tired. You lose motivation. Small problems make you angry. You feel guilty whenever you rest. These are not signs that you're failing. They're signs that you've been carrying too much for too long. So how do you begin changing? Start with one simple question before saying yes to anything. Am I doing this because I truly want to, or because I'm afraid of saying no? That single question can change your relationships, your work, and your peace of mind. Remember this: setting boundaries is not selfish, it's responsible, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself doesn't make you love others less. It simply allows you to keep loving them without losing yourself in the process. Today, ask yourself one final question. Which boundary have I been ignoring lately? Maybe you need more rest. Maybe you need to stop carrying responsibilities that don't belong to you. Maybe you simply need permission to choose yourself for once. Real change doesn't begin when life forces you to stop. It begins the moment you decide to listen to yourself before your body is forced to scream for help. Never forget, healthy boundaries don't push people away. They keep you whole. And when you protect your own energy, you become capable of giving your best. Not because you have to, but because you genuinely can. Thank you for listening. If this story helped you see yourself differently, subscribe to Luminary Tales for more stories and life lessons that change the way you think. What healthy boundaries really? Many people misunderstand the word boundaries. They imagine walls, distance, coldness. They believe that setting boundaries means becoming selfish or pushing people away. But healthy boundaries are none of those things. A boundary is not a wall, it's a line of clarity. It tells the world where your responsibility ends and where someone else's begins. Think of a river. Without its banks, the water doesn't become stronger. It spreads everywhere, losing its direction and its power. The banks don't limit the river, they give it purpose. Your boundaries work the same way. They don't stop you from loving people. They allow you to love them without losing yourself. The problem is that many of us were never taught this. Instead, we learned that being a good person meant always saying yes. Yes to extra work. Yes to helping everyone. Yes to solving problems that weren't ours. At first, it feels generous. People appreciate you. They thank you. They rely on you. But over time, something changes. The more available you become, the more your availability becomes expected. Not because people are cruel, because people naturally adapt to what you consistently give them. If you always answer every call, they'll expect you to answer. If you always fix every problem, they'll assume you always can. Eventually, You begin living according to everyone else's priorities instead of your own. And without realizing it, you slowly disappear from your own life. This is why healthy boundaries are so important. They're not about controlling other people. They're about protecting your energy, your time, and your peace of mind. One of the healthiest sentences you can ever learn is, "I'd love to help, but I can't today." Notice that it isn't angry, it isn't rude, it simply tells the truth. Real kindness doesn't require self-destruction. In fact, the people who truly care about you won't expect you to sacrifice yourself over and over again. And if someone only values you when you constantly ignore your own needs, then perhaps they never valued you as a person, only as a convenience. Healthy boundaries don't make you less compassionate. They make your compassion sustainable, because you cannot keep giving your best when there's nothing left inside you to give. The goal isn't to build walls around your life. The goal is to build doors that you choose when to open and when to close. That's what healthy boundaries really are. They're not about keeping people out. They're about making sure you never lose yourself while letting others in.
The signs you've been ignoring your limits. The difficult thing about personal boundaries is that you rarely notice the moment you cross them. It doesn't happen overnight. There isn't a single morning when you wake up and suddenly realize you've gone too far. Instead, it happens slowly. Almost silently. At first, the signs are small. You wake up tired, even after getting enough sleep. You lose patience over things that never used to bother you. Simple tasks begin to feel overwhelming. You tell yourself you're just having a bad week. Then the weeks become months. One of the clearest signs is emotional exhaustion. You're physically present, but mentally absent. People talk to you, and you're listening, but you don't really have the energy to respond. The hobbies you once loved no longer excite you. Even your free time feels empty because you're too drained to enjoy it. Many people mistake this for laziness. It isn't. Your mind is simply asking for rest in the only language it has left. Another warning sign is constant guilt. You feel guilty when you rest. You feel guilty when you say no. You feel guilty for taking time for yourself. Somehow, relaxing begins to feel like doing something wrong. But rest is not a reward you earn after destroying yourself. It's a basic human need. There's another sign that often goes unnoticed. You begin living on autopilot. You wake up, go to work, come home, scroll through your phone, go to sleep, then repeat the same routine the next day. You're surviving, but you're no longer truly living. Your body keeps moving, yet your spirit feels strangely absent. Perhaps the most dangerous sign is that you stop listening to yourself altogether. Your body tells you it's tired. You ignore it. Your mind tells you it's overwhelmed. You push harder. Your emotions tell you something isn't right. You distract yourself instead. At first, your body whispers. Then it sends signals. Finally, if nothing changes, it starts to scream. That's when burnout appears. That's when anxiety begins. That's when even the smallest responsibilities feel impossible. The truth is, burnout doesn't happen because you're weak. It happens because you've been strong for far too long without giving yourself permission to recover. Real strength isn't about enduring endless pressure. Real strength is recognizing when it's time to stop before life forces you to. Your body is always communicating with you. The question is, are you listening before it has to scream? Protect your peace before life forces you to. If there's one lesson to remember from everything we've talked about, let it be this: your boundaries are not there to keep people away. They're there to keep you whole. The world will always ask for more of your time, more of your attention, more of your energy. There will always be another email to answer, another favor to do, another responsibility to carry. If you wait until everything is finished before taking care of yourself, you'll be waiting forever. Many people believe they'll rest after this busy season, after this project, after this promotion, after the children grow up, after life finally slows down. But life rarely slows down on its own. The only person who can create space in your life is you. Think about your phone. When the battery reaches 1%, you don't blame it for being weak. You plug it in. You understand that without energy, it simply cannot function. So why do we expect something different from ourselves? Why do we believe we should keep going no matter how exhausted we feel? Your mind, your body, and your heart need moments of recovery just as much as your phone needs to be recharged. Rest isn't a luxury. It's maintenance. And boundaries are how you protect that maintenance. Today, I want to leave you with one simple question: which boundary have you been ignoring lately? Maybe you've been saying yes when you wanted to say no. Maybe you've been carrying responsibilities that don't belong to you. Maybe you've spent so much time taking care of everyone else that you've forgotten what it feels like to take care of yourself. Whatever your answer is, remember this: change doesn't begin when life forces you to stop. It begins the moment you decide to listen to yourself before your body has to scream for help. Never apologize for protecting your peace. Never feel guilty for choosing your well-being. The people who truly love you won't ask you to destroy yourself for their comfort. And the relationship you have with yourself is the one you'll live with for the rest of your life. So protect it. Respect it. Take care of it. Because at the end of the day, healthy boundaries don't make you selfish. They make it possible for you to give your best to the people you love, without losing yourself in the process. Thank you for listening. If this story made you stop and think, subscribe to Luminary Tales for more stories and life lessons that can change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Remember, sometimes the strongest thing you'll ever say is a simple, honest no.